Hey everyone, welcome back to Psychonauts. There's just one thing I want to take care of before I go on to levitation training.
You see those guys?
Nope.
Hmm.
How's it going, Mongoose?
Everything is falling into place. We're moving into the end game. Don't tell anyone I'm out here.
Roger.
I was kind of hoping that I'd be able to tell him where Milka is now that I've actually found her, but I guess he's not interested. So let's go get ourselves a canoe and head out there to the floating dock where Mia's teaching levitation.
Admiral? Where's that canoe again?
You can't find the ship, eh? Well, you're not off to a promising start, Seaman. It's right outside. You can't miss it. Well, most people couldn't miss it. I will sink you so deep in that lake no dredge crew would ever find you. I'll make a canoe out of your hide if you try that one more time.
Well, the Admiral's as helpful as ever. The canoe is pretty much only ever useful this once, and no, we can't get to either of these floating cards just yet. We'll be able to in a bit, but for now we've got to head straight for levitation training, the only thing that's out here on Lake Oblongata worth doing anything with.
There she is.
And there you are, darling. Don't worry, I got in contact with your father and he's going to be here tomorrow to pick you up.
My father?
Oh, gotta go. The race is starting.
Lily!
Oh, hey Raz. Listen, I made you something. It's kind of stupid, but...
They stole Dogen's brains!
No, he's just like that.
I had a nightmare where this mad scientist guy said he was gonna take them out, and...
Was it a creepy-looking freak with a shower cap and a stainless steel three-pronged claw?
Hey! That's my nightmare!
So it's not just me.
But how? And why all the meat?
I don't know. But I think it's time I find out where this is coming from. Let's rendezvous tonight at the old boathouse for debriefing.
This is so cool!
Yeah! It feels like that time in True Psychic Tales 314 where... Shut up!
That was cute. She made him a friendship bracelet.
Oh man, these guys are all getting advanced levitation training while I'm just standing here.
Hey, free airplane rides today.
Alright, they've got nothing new to say, but I never did use telekinesis on Phoebe.
Hey! Enough! Hello? Put me down! Ugh. Ugh.
Yow!
Ugh.
Yow!
Please, this is polyester. I'm hot enough. I was already floating, Rasputin. That's hardly a challenge. Enough with the rough stuff, darling. Enough with the rough stuff, darling.
I love how she flips over when you punch her. Alright, let's get into class.
Agent Vodello? I have been ordered to report here for levitation training. I've already done the coach's obstacle course, and Sasha showed me how to shoot.
You know, I'd expect that sort of recklessness from Orso, but Sasha?
Agent 9 said you were the most powerful levitator the Psychonauts had.
Sasha said that? Really? I didn't know he noticed.
Well, you know, I only work with the best teachers.
Flirt? Okay, let's party. Look who made the scene.
Agent Vodello? Where are you?
On TV, of course, where I was always meant to be. I mean, look at my hair, darling. How can hair this fabulous not be on TV? Now, darling, the best way to learn levitation is to just try it. I'm going to give you a levitation learner's permit. It will only work while you're in my mind. After you finish my course, I'll give you the real thing, baby. First, you gotta show me you know how to use it.
So here we have it, the best power in the game. And the whole thing is themed like a disco party. I'd say what decade, but I honestly have no clue. It was disco like a 70s, 80s.
Now for this last one, you're really gonna have to fly.
Once you get up in the air, try using your thoughts as a balloon to float. Just jump for those rings as high as you can and then do your side float. Don't be afraid, darling.
Looks a lot like 70s Doctor Who, anyway. That's what I'm gonna go with. So levitation is a way to move faster, jump higher, and float farther. That's pretty much it.
Outstanding! Okay, now, just between you and me, this end of the party is dead. Come find me on the other side of the party, and I'll give you that merit badge for real. Never keep a girl waiting long, young man.
I don't think I'm in any hurry to get to the far end of the party, especially with all this collectible stuff sitting around.
Got it.
Lots of cobwebs, bunches and bunches of figments. And the whole thing is really kind of a tutorial in all the different things you can do with levitation.
Stay on the ball in here, Rasputin, if you want to get higher. And see if you can get all those rings spinning, Mr. DJ.
See, here we have to learn how to use momentum effectively. The room is shaped kind of like a 360-degree half-pipe. So you have to run up one side and then get some momentum so that you can jump higher from the other side. And not hit your head on the rings, which is harder to do than it sounds, although I'm really messing up here. Much more than I should be.
Woohoo! You are the sugar in my bowl, darling. Now just follow the flowers, won't you? And try to stay rolling at all times. That is the theme of this party.
Alright, I kinda screwed up these jumps a lot more than I really should have, so I'm running this at about double speed for the moment, just to get some of this early figment collection out of the way. There's a figment over there floating above where one of the rings used to be, and it's really tricky to get to. At least from below. So, I gotta get up onto those flowers, which conveniently do close around your levitation ball when you land in them. So, that helps you to stay in place. I'm not sure that you necessarily are intended to remain on the levitation ball the whole time you're in here, but that's what Mia said to do, and it is good practice. Levitation's not as easy to control as it looks, and it probably doesn't look very easy to control. Actually, it's easier to control than I make it look. It's not so bad.
Fantastic! What style you have, young man. Now, I'm not saying that you will fall, but if you ever did, I'll put a ball return down here for you. Just jump in there if you need to come back up here in a hurry.
Darling, float over here, will you? These rings aren't spinning and they are ruining my party.
Remember to use your side float. I'm not saying it won't ever let you down, but it will let you down nice and slow.
We get those ball returns, which will send us right back to where we were if we end up falling down. They're nice shortcuts.
Hey, wanna dance?
Thanks, but no thanks, Raz.
Ugh.
Hey, I need room to groove.
Hey, wanna dance?
Hey, sure! We're all dancing! Yow! Hey! Hey! This isn't slam dancing!
Hey, will you teach me how to dance?
Come on, dance, baby! Whoa!
It's not very good
this
teaching.
Ain't the mosh pit, frat boy.
Hey, wanna dance?
No thanks, Raz.
Ugh.
Wow, I thought I was the worst dancer here, but you're really bad.
Hey, wanna dance?
Yay! Hey, I already am! Come join us!
Nope, not gonna blow my high, man.
You dance
I'm in my
hard, Raz.
groove place.
Ow! Hey, this ain't the mosh pit, frat boy.
Yeah, most of the characters have unique things that they'll say inside Mia's mind, particularly when you hit them. And I just noticed I missed a figment back there. I'll have to come back for it later.
Thank you, sweetie. I feel so much better now. Come on, let's take it a little higher now. Ooh, look at the crowd. Things are starting to pick up.
Guess I can't get on top of that flower way up there, but I think there's more stuff to collect along these. And a door way in the back there. I'm gonna go check that out first.
Now, why would you want to come in here? Come on, this room's no fun. Let's leave, baby.
Got figments that look like little kids, a bunch of rocking horses, a toy box in the corner, and a vault, which is very elusive.
Now, you definitely don't want to go in there. That's a party killer right there.
Darling, what are you doing down here? The party is upstairs.
Lucky for you, I have my nightmares under control. These things can take you to a world of pain, trust me. Now, quick, let's get back to the party, okay?
Darling, if you're looking for the makeup room, you've come to the wrong place. Help us, help us,
Can't get a good grip.
help us, Milla.
Now I want you to think about what we just saw in relation to the way that Mia's been protecting everybody since we showed up at the camp. How she wouldn't let Raz participate in any of the activities until he appealed to her good nature and basically flirted his way into the class.
See that draft up above, darling? Jump into it and float and see where it takes you.
Levitation is highly subject to forces of nature, particularly wind, which we're going to have to use in a number of cases. Horizontally is pretty rare. Most of the time it's going to be vertical. And now we're inside a giant pinball machine. And right behind us I already spotted another cobweb.
Got it.
And that faint crying is about the only clue you're going to have to where a large number of figments and a piece of baggage are going to be located. You got to be careful not to stand in front of the bumper, especially if you're not on the levitation ball. It'll actually hurt you. Now let's see if I can get up onto that ledge there. It's tough because of the way levitation interacts with any kind of slope whatsoever. It is a ball after all. Now, levitation greatly increases your movement abilities, but it significantly reduces your control, so there's kind of a trade-off. It is a really important power, though, and it deserves a permanent space in your palette of 3 powers that you can use at any time. For me, it's pretty much levitation, marksmanship, and whatever one power is going to be the most useful at the time. And I guess I'm not going to be able to make it there unless I float. Interestingly, this is why you can't target things in midair, because the targeting button and the floating button are the same. And I have no idea why, but the sensors only appear once you get up to this point. Granted, I don't plan to go down there, at least anytime soon, but if I did, yeah, I'd have to tangle with the sensors again. I'm guessing most of these figments are supposed to be people partying in various ways, dancing. I don't recognize a lot of their moves, and I'm seeing things like people reading books. That's what I do at parties, but I wouldn't expect that to be me as kind of party person. Sometimes rings are fun. Most of the time they're not. And this is one of the most annoying jumps in the entire level. Because this flower barely comes down far enough for you to jump on it at the height of your levitation jump. So you've got to time your jump just right to be able to get there. And I have no idea why Raz can't grab onto the edge of that ledge. Maybe it's because of the curvature, but it seems like he should be able to grab that one. I'll just wait for this flower to get up to the peak, make a levitation jump, and go for it.
Hey, wanna dance?
Why don't you go ask Ilka? She loves to dance. Ugh. Go stampede someone else.
Hey, wanna dance?
You better back off, or my boyfriend James will go nuts. He's so jealous and protective of me.
He told me to ask you.
Why are boys such pests?
Hey, wanna dance?
Yes, teach me of your earth rhythms. Oof. That's not how we dance on my planet, Earthling.
Alright, quick look around. I guess there are not only party things here, but also things associated with TV, like cameras, and I guess maybe that one with the book was the director reading a script. Anyway, we've got a hand symbol over here, which is actually a door we need to punch. And now we start to see the enemies in this area. Dapper sensors and top hats. And even the personal demons have top hats. Everybody's well dressed here. And here's the other vault for the level. So it looks like Milla's gone on a lot of missions with Sasha, and there's definitely some romantic tension there. From what she said before class, I get the impression that Sasha doesn't seem to be as into Milla as she is into him, which I think is how Rasputin managed to get into the class. You know, giving her a bit of hope by saying that Sasha actually does notice her. Something to think about, you know, what kind of relationship is there between those two? especially if they came here in one car.
When you are levitating, you are also protected from all sorts of icky things. But some things, like those spikes, those are always bad news, whether you are levitating or not. So watch out!
Yeah, so this is to demonstrate that we can use the levitation ball to safely cross this radioactive ooze, the electricity, and the fire. Most of which we'll never see again.
That shouldn't be happening. Darling, do you have some problems with water? Do you want to talk about it?
It's a long story. Maybe later.
Okay, I'm always here for you, darling. Let me just say that it's very normal for boys your age.
I have no idea what the hitbox was on that one figment. But we're almost out of this room. And yeah, the whole thing is one giant room with a single figment counter for the whole thing. And it's not even the hardest place to collect all the figments. I have to say, pyrokinesis is a lot more effective when it covers a wider area around the thing that you're burning. And you can probably hear a crying piece of baggage nearby. I don't know why I thought I'd be able to make that jump. This part isn't really all that difficult, but if you're not careful, it does take some rather delicate timing with your levitation jumps. You gotta make sure that you jump early enough that you don't hit the wall, but late enough that the platform is going to have come all the way under the wall by the time you get there. Always levitate before you jump. And there's the purse. And over there is the door that will finally get us out of this section forever. At least until I come back to get all the figments I missed. And if you run fast enough, you can just sneak right past those sensors and get to the exit. But you can see the side chain blast working in my favor already. We're in some kind of tube that looks like a checkered flag, and it really was a checkered flag, curled up. This is the infamous segment of the game.
Okay, it's time to see how fast you are, darling. Ready? Get set? Go, baby, go!
This is the levitation race. There are 97 figments in this section of the race. And all but 3 of them are worth a single point. If you're trying to 100% the game, you need to get them all. And this room is huge. And if you go past one, going back up takes a long time. Because the whole room slopes downward, so your levitation ball is making gravity work against you. Or you can walk, and it takes absolutely forever. So you'll notice that I'm speeding this thing up. There's nothing all that interesting about the race that you can't see at double the speed. You got those gates that give you a pretty big speed boost. Other kids racing against you. And normally I'd just run through here as quickly as possible and then come back and get the figments later. But there is a unique property of this particular room that I think is really important and makes it helpful to get all the figments the first time through as best you can. You're not going to get them in one run through the race. It just isn't going to happen. And not because there's so many of them that you're likely to miss some, but there are multiple paths. You're going to have to cover the race at least twice in order to get all of them. So I'm going slowly, trying to get all the ones that are on the ground. Looking out carefully, making sure not to miss any, because they fade in and out. I don't know if you've ever noticed that before about figments, but they're hard to spot. And then we get these gates that we jump through to open walls.
Oh, darling, you look... Why don't you try the race again?
Now the important thing about this race is, the first time you're doing it, you're racing obviously against Bobby Zilch as well as Clem and Crystal, who are never going to beat Bobby anyway. Although they're nice about it when they pass you. And if you lose to Bobby, then you just go right back to the start of the race and have to do it again. Otherwise, you load the next segment, and then you have to use the teleport worm to come back here if you want to have another run and try to get more figments. That's 2 load times, which on the PS2 version is an eternity. So I'm using my second run through the race, once again to take it nice and slow, and take these upper ramps, which I think are the faster way to get through the race, although it's really hard to tell. And as long as I get all the figments on both paths, then I'll never have to come back and do the race again. The sensors in this tube don't actually hurt you. I'm not punching them at all, I'm just walking into them and they just fall apart. They're just there for decoration, I guess.
Okay, it's...
So let's see how I did. I missed 1. Fortunately, I spotted it during the editing process, so I know where it actually is.
Get set, go, baby, go!
But in the meantime, it's time to actually win this thing. And you can do that on the ground, or you can do it in the tubes, but up here there's nothing that you need to dodge. It's just a straight shot, riding the curvature of the tube, getting to the end. And you can see that at least for now I'm well ahead of Bobby. He's probably going to start catching up once I hit the ground. Really, it's a matter of not smacking into anything as you go. And that one I had a lucky glancing blow off the side of one of those bumpers. Sent me to the side instead of backwards. Speed boosts are pretty handy, and I think coming out of here, I could take those ramps above, but if you miss one of the jumps, then you lose any advantage from having gone up there. There are no speed boosts, and really all you gotta do is be able to navigate this forest of bumpers. And I always steer into the tunnel. Again, I don't know whether this tunnel is faster than going the straight route, but that way you'd have to hit all those ramps. And this one really slows you down, but I think you pick up enough speed on these bumpers at the end, you'll always come in first.
You did it! You are quick like greasy lightning! I'm so proud of you, darling! You're so fast, you'll be at my party in no time, eh? Okay, if you want to get up to where the action is, you're going to have to do a lot of floating in this room, baby. Good thing you're so light on your feet.
So this is our training in using updrafts. We've already used a horizontal wind tunnel, but like I said, most of the time you're going to encounter any kind of moving air that's good for levitation. It's going to be pointed upwards. So first order of business naturally is to get as many of the figments on the ground as I can. Because this room is a heck of a lot smaller than either of the other rooms we've encountered so far. But there are a lot of figments packed in here, and a lot of them move. So clearing the whole room is a pain. I'll try to at least get all the stationary ones. And as many of the moving ones as I can actually home in on. Those rails between these curls here are grindable, which tends to be annoying more often than it's helpful. If you land on them, you're going to get off your levitation ball and start grinding. So in order to get to the top of the room, we got to use these updrafts over here, and miss a figment along the way. I'm not giving up yet. There we go. So now, back to the updrafts.
If you float in some areas, you might get a little more oomph than usual.
That's not exactly how I would have put it if I were the one explaining how updrafts work, but basically they push you upwards if you're using the psi float when you're above them. They've got an upper limit, of course, but it almost always helps to ride it to the very top before you go to your destination. And the fist symbol always means punch me.
Now you're going to have to use your psi float again to get those rings spinning.
We're intimately familiar with the rings by now, but up until now we've been using the psi float to go downwards through a series of rings. This time I find it a lot more useful to float above them and then drop down. I think you're meant to float upwards through them, but there's no way to aim that. At all. And finally the exit is open. But of course, we've still got a couple of figments here. And there's one other bonus in this room, which I definitely want. Assuming that I can get to it without being distracted by more figments. Well, not too concerned about it. I know I'm going to be coming back here later, because I actually plan to leave some figments behind. So that's the way I went up to hit the switch before. This collection of updrafts is the one that I need to use to get to my upgrade. I have no idea what that last figment was. I think they're even harder to spot among these colorful bubbles. But way up here at the top of the room is a golden trophy. And it raises the maximum amount of ammunition for our psi blast that I can carry at a time. There are a bunch of those in the game. They're not as helpful as you might expect them to be, but still pretty useful. And I'm going to try to collect as many of them as I can. Those of you who know the game pretty well might have figured out by now why I'm not trying to collect every rank as early as I can. The rest of you, just hang along for the ride. So where was that exit again? One more figment floating around in the background. No idea where it went. I like the way the fan only turns on when you're directly above it. That's kinda cool. And a last couple of figments over here, and the final piece of baggage. And now, time to burst into Mia's party in style. There she is on that ledge in the center, which is why most people probably wouldn't come down here and collect the last couple of figments. But there's one cobweb I didn't get yet.
Got it.
I want to get all of those the first time through each mind. And there are also figments on a lot of these ledges around the room, but not gonna mess with them. I've been in here long enough, and it's time to claim my reward.
Who's that I see? It's Rasputin, the rolling rock star, in the flesh! And just in time, the party was dying without you, darling. Here, I have a little party favor for you. So cute. Don't be a stranger, darling.
Thank you, Agent Vodello. Now it's back to the lab to save Dogen.
Dogen's not in the lab, sweetie. He's watching TV in the lodge with the other children.
I meant the dream Dogen from my brain tumbler vision. If I can find out what's happening to him, maybe that would give me a clue about who stole real Dogen's brain.
Oh, I'm afraid he's just like that.
Excuse me, Agent Vodello?
Hello, darling. Are you back for another dance?
Wait, I can do that? I don't have time right now.
No, I'm here to warn you. I think there's a monster in the lake.
You mean the hideous hulking lungfish of Lake Oblongata? Darling, every summer camp has its stories, but that's all they are.
This one ate Dogen's brains.
Now stop spreading rumors. I know Dogen seems a little naive, but he's actually a very powerful psychic. You know what it's like to stand out, Rasputin, so maybe you could help him out, eh?
Well, I just wanted to stop by and say hi.
Oh, how nice. Isn't it a lovely day? It just seems like on a beautiful day like this, nothing could go wrong, you know?
I sure hope she's right. Anyway, I never need to use the canoe again. You can probably imagine that going back to the areas that I could clear without levitation, now that I have this ability, the platforming is pretty trivial. Like I can get this car down in the middle of the lake. And I can get to a lot of places I couldn't get to before. I can collect almost everything around the camp now. With a couple of exceptions. I'll show you that in a sec.
Admiral Cruller? That canoe, are you in love with it?
What? No, I'm just checking it for psychic residue. Some kind of fish has been tearing holes in our canoes. I'm trying to pick up its scent. Ah, don't worry now, baby. Nobody's ever gonna hurt you again. I promise.
Admiral Cruller? That canoe in...
Alright, that's more than I really wanted to know. Bobby is, of course, still guarding this pier.
Hey, Bobby. Wasn't that great when I beat you in that levitation race? Hey, Bobby. Someone's stealing kids' brains.
Well, in that case, you've got nothing to worry about.
Good one.
Because you got no brains.
Yeah. Hey, Bobby.
No brains.
Well, he certainly seems to be attached to that joke. So I can't get the stuff that's at the end of the pier just yet. On the other hand, there are a lot of things that I can get. And just to show you what I'm talking about, let's go grab the last Psy challenge marker I couldn't get before. I'm pretty sure there's no way to get to this without levitation. Which will be upgraded in just 2 ranks, or 1 rank and 17 figment points. Anyway, next time, we're gonna go see what else is happening around camp, and then we'll head back into the brain tumbler, where we'll finally find out what happened to Dogen's brain. See you next time.